Hey, hope you got a chance to see our Tider Insider TV signing day special. However, if you were at work or at school, you missed it, check out our website, WVUATV.com, click on sports. One thing that you'll see is a complete recap of the day's events. And Alabama's 2011 signing day had everything from five-star signees to day of decisions. There were two last-minute commitments on signing day. Asheville, North Carolina defensive end Jeffrey Pagan chose Alabama over Georgia. And then there was Brent Callaway. He first committed to the Tide last year. Then at last month's Army All-Star game, changed his mind and said he was going to Auburn. But on Wednesday, Callaway switched yet again.
Alabama.
When I went back to Alabama, it was like, I'm home.
He was committed to us for a year.
Yeah.
And, you know, he dismissed it for a while, that's all. That's all I can say about that. And then he came back here and visited and decided that he wanted to come back here. I mean, it's tough on these guys.
He said, if my heart's not in Alabama, then I don't need to come. He said, if I feel like the school's for me, then be here. He said, but either way it go, they're going to be with me 100%. They wasn't mad at me when I switched. You know, I did handle it in a way that could have been kind of disrespectful maybe, and I apologize for that, but I feel like there was no grief there.
In addition to signing offensive tackle Cyrus Kwanjo, Bama also had three other five-star signees.
Roll Tide.
Safety Haseen Clinton-Dix signed his letter of intent at his Orlando high school. For the Tide signee, he was just glad to get it over with.
Felt good, like I committed back in April, and the pressure was still on. I mean, I still had everyone calling me from here to the other side of the state, but it felt good today.
He committed early and never, ever once wavered.
I love their fan base, coaching staff, their work effort, the facilities, school-wise, I love it.
Clinton-Dix, who goes by the nickname Ha-Ha, will join his high school teammate Dee Hart in Tuscaloosa. The Orlando five-star running back was one of the 9 January enrollees. And then there's five-star linebacker Traden Priest. Because DePriest played high school ball in Ohio, it wasn't feasible for him to return home to sign his letter of intent. So instead, he accepted an invitation to go and sign at Northridge High School, home of his new teammate, Vinny Sunseri.
I know his mom and everybody would want to see him sign, and he's my buddy, so I couldn't leave him out, so I had to ask him if he wanted to come over here and sign with little old me.
We met at the first Under Armour All-American Combine, and we've just been cool ever since, and then that was my roommate and at the game, and then we came here a few days later, and that's my roommate now, and it's just, we cool.
If the name sounds familiar, it's because Vinny Sunseri is the son of Tide linebacker coach Sal Sunseri. Vinny, by the way, is a linebacker and will have his dad for his position coach.
I always remind him that I got the scholarship and he had to walk on. But, I mean, he always pulls the All-American card on me, so I got to try to improve myself. But, I mean, I'm excited to try to do that and start a new chapter in my life.
Sunseri is just one of 7 in-state players who inked with the Crimson Tide. There were also guys like receiver Danny Woodson Jr. out of Mobile and defensive back Christian Jones from Minor. But of all the signees, no one has a more distinctive accent than JUCO defensive lineman Jesse Williams. He comes to Alabama from Western Arizona Community College. Before that, Williams lived in Australia. He is considered the #1 junior college player in the nation, but still needs to master the Bama lingo.
And people were going around saying Roll Tide. I didn't actually know what I meant at all. Well, obviously when people say it to me, I try and say it back, like that TV commercial. That's kind of really what I got the gist of it from. And I get it 10 to 15 times a day from students, and like I've even had people drive past me and just yell at me. So, I don't mind it. So, but yeah, I'm slowly getting used to it.
Williams is one of 3 junior college players the Tide inked this signing class. And while all 3 have the potential to make an immediate impact, Saban cautions everyone not to place unrealistic expectations on any of his new players.
Just because you pick the best puppy dog with the biggest feet, that doesn't mean he's going to grow up to be the best hunting dog. And, a lot of these young players are very good. They're very talented. They've had great success as high school players, but they're going to make a tremendous amount of improvement.
And in all, Bama signs 24 players this class. 9 were early enrollees. The remaining 15 plan to join the Tide this fall. Gary?